Marco, Fede, welcome. Marco, AI is everywhere at the moment. So what, and I suppose how, are companies prioritizing right now?
I think there are three areas that companies are prioritizing right now that are different from 1 year ago. Number one is companies realize that data is everything. Data context is very important for the technology to work. Number two is that it's very important to make sure that the agentic technology is embedded in the flow of work. So then it's totally linked to business processes and it's not living in a different layer. And number three, safety, the trust, the compliance is very, very important to make sure that we can rely on the AI technology.
I imagine the imperative for companies now is to move from experimentation to impact. That has to be. How do they do that? What are the key moments?
I think there are probably two key moments when you have a successful pilot and you want to expand it into production. Number one is that it implies corporate changes and organizational changes because you are inverting your processes as a company and you will now have human and agents working together. So you need C-level alignment and you need proper support top down, not only bottom up. And then the second point is that more pilots moving into production will mean more agents and more humans working together in a different way. So the orchestration layer to govern those relationships is very important.
Fede, when companies are trying to scale agentic AI, what are some of the common areas, the points in which they get a bit stuck?
Most of the time, in my experience, it's not technology these days. It's three different things. One, they underestimate how important it is not to approach agentic AI as a tool change, but really as an operating model change, as a way to rethink how work gets done. Secondly, they don't update the operating model to get it ready for autonomy. And so they don't have a rich context layer, clean API environment, real-time data, modular processes, and so on. Third, they don't think about the incentives. For instance, they won't change the rewards for their commercial teams to be more about outcomes than activities.
Finally, what does an AI native company look like?
Well, in this industry, we are in the Mobile World Congress today. I think in these regulated industries, it is very important to have deep industry context to make sure that the agentic technology can drive the right impacts. Second thing, we talk about orchestration of different agents working together. It's very important to have a proper framework and proper technology and tool supporting this. And last but not least, the agents need to be able to reason in an autonomous way to make sure that the companies can switch from this reactive approach to proactive approach to make sure that you can solve an incident before it happens, or you can present an offer to a customer before he asks for it.
These are great. Maybe let me add a couple. One, they had moved fully from pilot to building an AI backbone, from data to common framework for agents to that context and orchestration layer that we were talking about. And then secondly, they also moved from setting productivity targets, taking out costs, to also thinking about how they grow the top line. And so they penetrate the revenue end.
Fede, Marco, a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.